What is up, everybody? This is Deacon Lacrosse back with another 5-minute lesson where you can learn everything that you need to know in just 5 minutes. And in this lesson, we're going to be talking a little bit about tapping. Okay, so tapping is a cool way to kind of incorporate some flashiness into your guitar playing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be built all around speed. It can be used for a multitude of different things, but for the purpose of this lesson, I'm just going to stick to the basics. So the cool thing about this lesson is it actually incorporates our previous lesson, which was hammer-ons and pull-offs, into a little bit more of an advanced situation. So the first thing that I would do is I would get used to just tapping in general. Now, you can use your first or your second finger, whichever is more comfortable to you. What I do a lot of times is when I'm playing, I'll be picking like normal, of course, and then I'll actually put the pick in my middle finger like this, and I'll kind of squeeze it into place. You see what I'm saying? And then I'll have my first finger more available to do the tapping, but you'd have to go back and forth between positioning in the picking position and in the tapping position. But you can also keep your pick just held in the picking position, and you can tap with your middle finger as well, whichever is more comfortable to you. So if we were to just mute the strings with our hands here, just place them on the strings, don't press in, just place them so there's like no sounds or no noise coming out, and just get used to tapping. So take your finger, whichever you prefer, and just go up all the strings on the 12th fret, just to kind of get used to how hard to press each one, how each one sounds and reacts. We're looking kind of for a very strong sound out note, just as strong as a hammer-on or the pick. Let's go ahead and start off with the tap, and then we'll incorporate a hammer-on into our tap. So let's start off on fret 12 like we were with our tapping finger. Okay, now we're going to position our other two fingers over here already ready for this lick. So we're going to put our first finger on 5, and then we're going to put our fourth finger on 8. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start by tapping on the 12th fret, and then we're going to pull that note off to our 5th fret finger over here. And you hear the 2 notes there. Now after you do that, we're going to go from that 5th fret, and then we're going to incorporate our hammer-on with our 4th finger to the 8th fret here. So it's going to sound like this. Okay, now the very last step would be to re-tap and start all over again. Just like that. This is a very Van Halen style of tapping, which is great. It's an awesome thing to do and a very good place to get started. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to try that same shape on the next string up. So that way we can get used to tapping around strings instead of just flicking off of the bottom of the fretboard on the first one. So let's try it on string 2. Now take that shape and move down all the strings so that you can kind of get used to how each one feels and how they react to what you're doing. So one thing that I want to bring up that oftentimes gets left out is keeping all the other strings quiet. When you're doing this, you don't want ring out. So say this happens. You hear all that bleeding in between, especially if you accidentally hit an open note somewhere. So to do this, just rest your palm on the top of the strings like this, all except the ones you're playing. You can still keep the other ones quiet. It takes a lot of practice, so it's a little bit more of an advanced technique. So just take your time and give yourself some time to learn and give yourself some time to practice it. Alright, so this is a little bit of an insider's secret right here. This is top secret information, so be sure not to share it with anybody. If you actually lay your first finger down a little bit to the point where just the tip of it is touching the string right above it, it will actually deaden that string a little bit, thus giving you a little bit more isolating on the string that you're currently tapping on. That way you're giving yourself 2 different ways to mute the strings. One is the adjacent string with your fingers over here, and the other is the muting of the strings up top here. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this lesson video. I hope you learned something. Let me know in the comments down below, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys around the channel, and happy playing!